Alrighty. Hi, hello. Before we get into things, I'm trying to hit affiliate on Twitch, so if you could drop by streams, that would be helpful. You can get go live notifications by following me over there. Other than that, introduction time. My Monster Hunter experience is as follows. I have now 800 plus hours in Monster Hunter World plus Iceborne, and a measly 54 hours in Rise / Sunbreak. It was enough to get some mastering stuff done there, but not a whole lot. So that's a lot of what I will compare to. I will compare more to World than Rise, as it was my first Monster Hunter and my favorite up until now. More on that later. But I will be comparing the in-game systems to both, but more of a focus on World for that reason. A brief overview of what I'll cover in the different sections of the video. Hopefully, timestamps shown on screen. Maybe YouTube will section it out properly. I don't know. The first section will be the common criticisms. In that section, I'll go over those critiques, but also my takes on them. This includes difficulty, number of monsters, streamlining, repetitiveness, performance, and multiplayer. The second section will be titled, I love this game. Pretty self-explanatory there, but that section will include monsters / designs, music, little things, onboarding new players, story / lore, Seikret, and quality of life, and lastly, the endgame. Let's get started. Section 1, Common Criticisms. So, the first common criticism that I've been hearing a lot is difficulty. Yes, the game will be easy if you are a veteran hunter. I didn't cart once until about 75% of the way through the post-main story content, all the way into high rank. I was playing through with 2 of my friends, and with the changes in strength to not only the hunter, but also the palico, duo or solo will likely be even easier than a trio. And 4-player, it will be very easy. Very, very easy. Did the lack of challenge ruin my experience? No, absolutely not. It let me enjoy the story that the writers spent time on. I got to experience it and pay attention to it. I got to see the new monsters and really get to learn and see them, understand them, and enjoy them. Do I think they could nerf focus strike attacks and wound damage by about 20% and give the monsters a 20% health bump? Yeah, it would probably go a long way to fixing the difficulty and the length of hunts. Those 2 options and opinions can coexist because they are simply that. They are opinions. They are based on me and my experience. A lot of people share the same view, and that's okay. It's also okay if you or others do not. It doesn't really matter. Capcom gets to decide the weight of subjective opinions out there and combine it with their objective data and targets that they want to hit. If the average of new player hunters are beating the monsters too quick for their liking, then we'll likely see a health or damage adjustment in a future title update. If not, suck it up. This is the Monster Hunter we got. Next, number of monsters. This criticism really bugs me. I'm seeing it a lot, and it's like, there's fewer monsters than previous games at launch, and you're paying more for less content. We're gonna put that crap to rest. Let us start with a world comparison. There were at launch 32 large monsters in Monster Hunter World, including variants. Without the variants, 29. Of those 29, Great Jagras, Anjanath, Geratodus, Kuliaku, Puke Puke, Tobi-Kadachi, Ergigante, Xenojiva, Kolvetarath, Valhazak, Basilgeuse, Zora Magdaros, Batogron, Legiana, Palumu, Dodogama, Zitsuyaku, Radamon, and lastly Great Gyros were all brand new to the series. So 19 new monsters, 10 returning. Next up, Rise. At launch, 37. A few more than World. Take out the variations, and you have 34. An increase, but only just. Not very much of an increase. 11 new large monsters, being Tetranodon, Acnosam, Great Azuchi, Narwa, I'm not counting Narwa Allmother, Ibushi, Bishaten, Gasarag, Magnum Hollow, Mudron, Somnicanth, and Rachna Kadaki. So 11 new monsters, 23 returning. Significantly less new monsters compared to World, essentially flipping the ratio of new to return. And now we have Wilds. 29 large monsters at launch. 3 having variants in the game at launch leaves us with 26. New monsters include Ajarikon, Arkfeld, Valhara, Catacabra, Doshiguma, Irabami, Jindahad, Lalabrina, New Udra, Quematrice, Raydao, Ronpopolo, Uthuna, Zulu, and Zoshia. 15 new monsters, 11 returning. So what have we learned from this breakdown? Not that much of a monster quantity disparity compared to World, larger disparity compared to Rise. But we got less new monsters compared to World, and more compared to Rise. We also, remember, got a brand new monster class with the cephalopods. Not to mention some of the returning monsters got new Guardian variants with much more potent and interesting attacks alongside environmental interactions. So, the argument really doesn't have a lot of ground to stand on, even less when you consider the quality and changes. So we'll touch back on this later in a later section. That's just the raw information there. Next up, streamlining. I've been seeing a lot of, oh, they made the game too easy by streamlining all the complicated systems. Like, do you hear yourself? The whole I went through this hard experience and so should you mentality is fucking boring, it's old, and it's stupid. Get over it. They streamlined the game now. All the systems are much more approachable and understandable. That is just good and healthy for the game. That is innovating on new systems and creating new things and just going to help players through the game, new and old. Next, repetitiveness. Apparently gamers have forgot what a fucking gameplay loop is. This one just doesn't make sense to me. So let me spell it out for you. Hunt monsters, get parts, use parts to make gear, which makes sense. Hunt harder monster. With the endgame grinds I will touch on later that are vastly superior to Worlds and Rises, there's plenty of loop to go in the gameplay, and I have already put in 37 hours on launch weekend. If you don't like the gameplay loop, okay. Take breaks, don't play, whatever you need to do. But that is the loop. That is the game. Either enjoy it or don't, the choice is yours. Performance. Pretty much the only valid criticism here. Yeah, the performance fucking blows. Optimization needs to come sooner rather than later. Capcom knows it's no secret. Anyway, I am fortunate to have really good hardware, and I was running 4K DLSS quality, mostly high and medium settings on a 4090, and getting around 100 FPS during gameplay. There were a couple times it got framey. One cutscene in particular stood out, in which I dipped to sub 30. Other than that, fine for me. Some of my friends have gotten worse performance out of similar hardware. Some with slightly less good hardware. Some of my friends have been struggling to get a consistent like 70 FPS at 1440p on some other graphics cards. The 2070 Super of a friend of mine struggles to maintain good performance on 1080p, mostly low settings on that one. Capcom is aware of this, that they need to optimize the game, they'll get to it. But at the same time, it is not a first-person shooter, You really don't need 144 frames per second. It offers you no competitive advantage because this is a PvE game. There's no super intricate netcode crap that you have to deal with. You're competing against the environment. Really doesn't matter if you die because you can just do it again. So like, yeah, performance optimization, I'd be happier if they optimized it more for lower end PCs. This will allow more players to play the game. This is the same reason why, like, on YouTube, 720p is important. Same with Twitch. It's because the majority of devices in the world are 720p. Same with, like, 1080p now. So, I wish they would improve the performance and optimization of the game. Multiplayer. The multiplayer experience could be improved, but it also needs to be explained a little better by Capcom in-game. A little more linkage in terms of the link squads wouldn't hurt, like waiting on others to get out of on-rail sections or cutscenes, and a little menu that then joins the squad together when the others are caught up. Maybe a toggle for this as well. Call it story mode or something. But overall, multiplayer remains much the same as previous titles. Sight monster, return, post quest, join up, hunt, repeat. Link squads are there to auto post quests whenever you want to start one, so you can quickly join on friends. Really good if your squad wants to split up into the different environments, search for clues, right? One person goes to the plains for Raid Owl, someone else goes and looks for New Udra, Uduna, Arkfeld, and so on. Link worlds / environments, I forgot what they're actually called, do exist. So you can just go into an environment and run around expedition style and hunt anything that pops up. Like I said, it can be improved. Sad to see it wasn't. Main section 2. Coming back to the whole roster comparisons, the new monsters in this game are some of the most unique and interesting designs and fights that we've seen recently. The quality of the monsters themselves are vastly superior compared to older titles. The cephalopod fights are insane, with amazing detail to the monsters themselves. Even the returning monsters got a bit of an uplift. I mean, Rathian and Rathalos are much the same, to literally no one's surprise. But the Guardian variants of Ebony and Fulgur were very, very well done, adding even more intricacies to already awesome and amazing fights. The attention to detail and uniqueness of all the new monsters makes the overall quality and effort put into this game shine. If any new or returning monster in the future title updates are the same quality as what we have received in this launch, this will be the roster to remember. And it will also set a new standard going forward to future Monster Hunter titles. They clearly went with a quality over quantity approach and mindset, and this game is absolutely better for it. Between Frenzy and Tempered in high rank, maybe even Tempered Frenzied monsters, I don't know. With Capcom also confirming more difficulty is coming soon, there is Monster Hunter to play and grind, and I'm loving it. Next, music. They went absolutely crazy with the music in this game. I'd argue it's the best in the Monster Hunter games I've played. It's subtle and somber when it needs to be, exciting and epic when it's called for. The tracks are unique and complement the gameplay so very well. They truly nailed the music in this game, and it just makes the environment and the fights just feel alive. Next, little things. There were so many small animations, background things, little snippets. Truly the small things that really enrich the whole experience. From monster behaviors and interactions, to knocking over the baby Seikrets in the village, to the Palico jumping on the bed in the background when you're in the tent. This game feels alive even more so than World, and World did an amazing job at that. Next, onboarding new players. Touching back to streamlining section a little, this Monster Hunter is probably going to be the best for teaching new hunters how to play. It does so in a way that's more lenient and welcoming than World, with less confusion than Rise to boot. I've seen people complain about how difficult World was to get into, and I've seen people be like, hey, I didn't play World because it was too difficult to get into, and then they're loving Wilds right now. So it really goes to show that the effort they put into making this the most approachable Monster Hunter ever is paying off. The rather seamless world, easier to understand systems, rampant and welcome quality of life changes, and overall amazing new player experience has not only attracted a large audience, I mean, almost hitting daily player counts of Counter-Strike on Steam, which is insane. It's attracted such a large audience and will continue to do so for a long time. This will likely be the game for onboarding new Monster Hunter players going forward because of the ease of access and the approachability of this game. Next, story and lore. The lore revelations are insane. And the way the story combines lore, gameplay, and world building, it's unlike any of the other Monster Hunter games I've played. There are some incredible moments and revelations that left me awestruck and made me glad that I knew about the lore, but it also is going to help new players get involved with the lore better than most of the past Monster Hunters ever have. Seikret and quality of life. The Seikret is one of the most useful and easy to use upgrades the Monster Hunter receives in this game. A strictly better and smarter Palamute, with a lot of automated functionalities that just make hunting a little bit better, like auto-tracking monsters, the weapon swapping, field supplies, and more. Another upgrade is the ranged Slinger Claw that lets you pick up items on the move and from a very large distance. You can basically, in the little mini areas, like the subsections, you can almost cross the entire thing with just grab something on the opposite side with your slinger. It's wild. They also made the Palico have all the Palico gadgets by default, or at least most of them, making the Palico even stronger than World Arise and much more streamlined. It feels like a true hunting partner from the gates and continues to actually perform well and help you in your hunt. The number of quality of life changes they snuck into this game is astronomical and makes the whole experience just better for veterans and new players alike. Last big section, Endgame. Insert the Thanos reference here. There are a few grinds to chase in the endgame. One being Hunter rank, not only to unlock the new monsters and systems post-campaign, but some see it as prestigious to hit a high Hunter rank. I don't. There is decorations and armor, and the grind behind them, with skills now split between weapon and armor skills, and so very many decorations in the game. The build crafting is better objectively than it has been in the previous titles, and it truly feels better as a player. It is a very focused grind to get better armor and decorations versus getting Ardian parts for weapons. Let's talk about Ardian weapons. Ardian weapons is Monster Hunter's newest take on weapon crafting. Like the Safi Siege weapons, but instead of random elements and weapons, you can combine parts that individually roll random elements or bonuses to craft specific weapons with specific elements. And you get to see and preview the stats beforehand. Like Safi weapons, you can then upgrade them further by a process called reinforcing. You spend specific currency ores that you can get by turning in monster parts in Azus to randomly upgrade the stats on that weapon. You can do this up to 5 times for a weapon, and if you don't get what you want, you gotta start from scratch. There are layers to this grind onion, and it is an objectively better system than like the Safi weapons and such, and it's not locked behind a 2-week rotation, which makes it just accessible and a constant grind. I feel like time is appropriately rewarded in the end game. Rewarding hunts aren't too common, but they aren't too rare either. And I feel like overall good end game gameplay loop. And that just about wraps it up. Review wise, I think this is the best Monster Hunter title to date. I think it's now become my favorite, and I'm only 37 hours in. I'm excited. I'm so excited for where they can take this game, the monsters they can add. Yeah, maybe we had a smaller launch roster, but now they can add so many new monsters, and they've shown that the quality of the new monsters that they can add is so much higher than previous titles. So I'm looking forward to, you know, the Master Rank or G Rank update when that DLC comes out, but also all the title updates in between. There are also free title updates to the game, which just means that, like, yeah, we had launch content, but now we get to get more after the fact. So yeah, again, really excited. Favorite Monster Hunter game so far, and hope to see you around, hunt with you. Be much appreciated again if you go follow and show up to Twitch streams, because I'm trying to hit affiliate. I'm almost there. And thanks for watching.